Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Suzerain and the mighty nation of Swordland, where last we left off, we had yet another attempt of Walter Tusk to bribe us, which we immediately refused. So, let's see what's on the news today. Bill on the Rights of Workers, yes, we support this. President meets with Business Council. Reign leading promised reforms, President's righteous justice. Mortal mine disaster, 112 dead. That's not good. Preparations underway for the annual Benfey Festival. Okay. Budget allocation of the government of Swordland. Ooh, budget. This is gonna be fun. And now from the moment we've all been waiting for, it's finally time to discuss the government budget. I'm quivering in my loafers with oof. Okay, calm down, Raymond. Calm down, Simon. Sadly, Peter, Gus, and David won't be attending this meeting. They are working on the upcoming trade agreements with Welland and Agnolia. Kiara barely disguised the Nyler role. Same. Before we begin, is nobody going to mention the ban on young swords? However much their political aims might differ from our administration, surely you must agree that freedom of expression must be protected at all costs? Not for fascists. Seriously? You're gonna agree with her? I myself strongly disagree with the young swords politics, but even I believe that. Ladies, let's leave the extraneous chit-chat for afternoon tea. Lucian, don't be a prick. The ban is final. If you have problems with the ban, call a separate meeting. Thanks to Simon's expertise, I'm sure we'll achieve lots of great things today. Today's a big day. We must prioritize our spending wisely in order to achieve the goals as we set as a government. While maintaining enough political support, if I may add, promises were made during the election. There are three options regarding the budgeting of the four main branches of the government. It's either we increase, maintain, or decrease the funding. Increasing will result in an improvement of the branch, which will not be policy options. Maintaining will keep the funding, resulting in no visible change. Decrease causes a loss of efficiency in that branch. The problem is the amount of money spent, it's how efficiently we spend it. Many of our policies could be far better implemented. Our welfare systems are full of issues that need to be addressed. For instance, we have to be careful as to what we fund so we have resources remaining for another investment project. You have to keep true to the election promises. Our people voted for us because we promises we made. As much as we realistically can, if we fail at improving our economy, the promises don't mean much in the big picture. Before we begin our discussion, there is one more thing that I want to voice my opinion on. As we manage the government budget, we are obviously able to go into debt to invest into different branches. Although debt is a possibility, under these circumstances it would dent our financial system, worsening the economic crisis if we push it too far. A point for me as well to everyone for the discussion. The current state of the country, the economic situation is a political priority right now, more so than ever. The budget will also be applicable to our entire term. It's very critical that we plan correctly. Let's begin. Which branch should we discuss first? Let's talk about education. Our education system is lacking not only funding but also modern curricular principles. Our outdated curriculum is wasting our youth. That's the reason why I advocate two things: an increase of the budget to improve access to education in rural areas and a new education reform. To be honest, Swordland is lacking compared to Arcadia and United Contana. When it comes to education levels, the backbone of any country is the people. We need to ensure the new generation is well educated. Nonsense. Sutherland is still here because to this very system that you insult. Ah, yes, you soulist fundamentalist, you. We want to be compared to other countries. Sutherland is Sutherland. I must also remind you that the promise that we were going to focus on education during our campaign. It's high time we invest in education and enact reforms. Let's talk about healthcare. Our healthcare system is vast and provides free services to most of our citizens. However, the quality of our health services is far worse in low-income and rural areas. Therefore, I think that we should receive more funding to address this disparity. We recently began an investigation into healthcare in Narble, and the numbers are not good. If we don't increase spending on health services, we at least need to maintain it, otherwise we are putting lives at risk. We have just started a new analysis on what would happen if a pandemic struck Swarland. I mean, that's never gonna happen, is it? When's the last time a pandemic happened? Such an unlikely event. According to the results, if our healthcare facilities remain in their current state, the death toll would be unimaginable. Not even talking about the damage to the economy, this is a matter of life and death, Mr. President, and I should be treated as such. Indeed worrying, we should try to fix whatever we can. We need to improve our healthcare. What else are we here for if we can keep our people alive? Let us discuss law enforcement. Increase the funding of law enforcement to increase the size of the police. Raise salaries. I'm with you on maybe raising salaries, but increasing the size of the police, I don't like that much. So many internal threats to tackle, and I'm already stretching my units far too thin with the limited resources allocated to me. Law enforcement is certainly a high priority, however, I feel tackling internal corruption is far higher importance than increasing our police presence. Directing the funds to my department would solve the problem at its root. If corruption is still rampant, all the police in the world won't help us. We need a specialized anti-corruption police unit. Yes, I like this idea. We should not reward a structure that is responsible for an ever-increasing number of human rights violations. Additionally, corruption is the reason our government's inefficiencies. We need it to be tackled. The police are there to serve and protect the people. Sure, keep telling yourself that. More funding will allow us to take our police forces, simple choice, yada yada yada. I agree with Neo, we need real solutions for real problems like corruption. It's time to hear the opinions on the military. What is there to hear about? I already voiced my opinions. Yusuf, you fucking prick. It's coming whether like it or not. Mr. President, you and I have shared responsibility to protect this nation from its enemies, and I intend to do so until my last breath. I will say this with certainty, if Rumberg doesn't make a move against Sorrel in 2 or 3 years, my name is not Josef Lazia. I kinda wanna go the diplomatic route, prepare for war by making alliances instead of spending money on the military. I kinda don't want to spend money on military. I just want to spend on healthcare and education. There can be no argument against increasing the budget. Pardon my theatrics, but this is serious matter, yada yada yada. The armed forces does nothing but eat away financial resources destined to our people while stoking fears for an upcoming war. The issues with Rumber can be solved diplomatically. What kind of a message are we sending to them and the whole world if we suddenly start ramping up our military budget? There needs to be diplomatic as possible. Time to make a decision on the budget has come. Consider it with care, Mr. President. Okay, we are going to increase the health budget, increase the education budget, maintain law enforcement, and maintain military, and we are going to go into a deficit. I feel comfortable with going to deficit for this. We have a deficit in our hands. We will need to resort to debt to finance future investments. The situation can have adverse effects if we don't strike a balance. Let's start with law enforcement. I suppose we'll have to make do with what we have. This is not the best situation for us. Not sure what we'll be able to do with the budget. You just said you wanted to root out corruption. So do exactly that. Root out corruption and you'll find the money. Any statements on the matter, sir? I trust you to push the Ministry of Interior and Justice forward. I think the Reign administration would be on the side of law and justice. I am, just not of increasing your budget. Let's hear the Minister of Education. The increase of funding is very welcome. We can finally go after some comprehensive improvements. Surely a well-funded and larger Ministry of Education would benefit anyone. Good thing that you agree. Our future depends on our children. Education is the first step in the fight against ignorance. Your expertise and passion should enable you to make the necessary changes for improvement. The military is next. It is a shame that the military won't be getting an increase. I will have to make sacrifices to maintain our defense. I'm sure you'll manage. Maintaining the funding was the correct call. Your talent and experience, I'm sure you'll manage. It'll be harder to do so, but I'll find ways. It is my duty. Let's hear from Mr. Beniel. Thank you, sir. This health budget increase will help me to focus on improvements. I really hope that the highway and education and all will pay off in a higher budget. Hopefully. Our people will now be safer than ever. I'm also planning to tackle issues like the lack of rural hospitals and the recent worrying number of maternal deaths. Welfare must remain a priority for our term. There is no other way around it. Healthcare is very important. Feels invigorating to have the weight of the government behind my cause. That covers all the branches. Thank you for your time. Yada yada yada. Bye bye. Get out of my office. Appreciate your time and effort. We are a team, regardless of everything. Okay, what's new? 1954 Kurdish government budget. Expressed their gratitude for the increase in welfare budget, saying that this increase will help everybody in Swordland. Okay, what do we have new? Proceed to next turn. Ooh, and we finished the chapter. Will we be able to see the fruits of our labor? Not yet. Lechaven League of Women March. Navy forces Agnolian drill ship to retreat from Helliand. Arcasia fires the M4 ICBM. I'm sure it's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. Okay, Workers' Rights Act. Section 1 establishes a minimum wage of 2.5 Swordage Rein per hour. Section 2 sets a weekly maximum of 60 hours of labor. Section 3 establishes a double overtime pay per hour after 40 a week. Yes, 60 hours, like 20 hours of overtime per week is a lot. But I guess it's better than no limit. Section 4 determines that workers are to be protected against occupational hazards, provided humane work conditions. Section 5 establishes that the migrant or undocumented workers have the same workers' rights as citizens. Good. If any employer shall not abide by these rules, they will be heavily fined by the government if not corrected and face legal action. -1 government. Why? Fuck. I can't afford this. But I have to sign. Damn it. I really can't afford this. uh, Workers' rights act has been signed into law. Rain signs workers' rights into bill. Workers' rights bill signed. And let's leave the unpleasantness aside for now and let's take a nice walk with our wife. I was going to suggest that we work towards Seoul Square, but the guards told me it's been closed for yet another protest. I wonder who they are protesting this time. Must be those damn communists. The young swords are taking it too far. This is different, a nastier breed. Where shall we go? I'm not sure Capital Park is a wise idea in this climate either. We have our guard. No, let's stay inside the gates. So how was your day? Paperwork and the meetings. The usual nightmare. I imagine some might find that stimulating. What about your day? Oh, it was fine. I caught up on some reading while the children were at school. The Minister of Justice. Evelyn also came around for tea. She says hi. She was feeling rather low. Petter's in the doghouse ahead. Yeah. Somehow I'm not surprised. Petter had too much whiskey, as usual, and didn't behave when Evelyn's father was over for dinner yesterday. Seriously, Petter needs to tone down his drinking, for fuck's sake. You know, Petter, what do you think of this? I'll have a talk with him. Being married to a shoe... Aren't you glad you and I don't have this kind of quarrels? You know, Evelyn hasn't been the same since what happened to her at Holsart Post last year. You remember how she got fired for supporting Alfonso? Petter tried everything to get her job back, but it didn't work. Sad day for journalism and free speech in Swordland. Enough about the veterans. Also spoke to Janice on the phone. Oh, Janice. Right. I completely know who Janice is. You remember my friend from university? We were in Sorge's literature class together. A few years younger than me, red hair scar on her forehead. Had dinner with her and her husband once or twice. Neither the name nor description rang a bell. Right. That Janice. She's been working as an executive assistant at the Violet Pictures film studio. Recently became pregnant and asked her boss for paid maternity leave, and guess what? She was fired for it. After asking for it, that's terrible. This is gonna cost me more money, isn't it? It's the right thing to do. But I can't afford it. I know I was beside myself when she told me, and that's not all. They immediately placed her with a younger, less experienced man, the son of an executive, no less. It must want him there all along. It's utterly ridiculous. As it happens, another friend works for a television station that's hiring secretaries, so I connected the two of them. Doesn't solve the deeper problem, though. Of course, darling, we're on the same page. Women in this country are still seen as wives and mothers first, human beings second. They're harassed at work, underpaid, blocked, and from positions of power, and those are the lucky ones. Didn't I task you with, like, doing stuff about this? Why? Give me bill proposals so I can pass the laws and fix this. Still placed in this country where little girls like Diana are denied the right to an education. Hey, my budget is like this because I want that to change. We'll do what we can to change that. Can't just be you. These little girls and people like Janice need someone to speak on their behalf, a role model, a successful woman. Yes, get to work. I completely approve. Which brings me to my point. Mayor of Anrika Kurtan Les will be delivering a speech at the annual opening of the Banfi Festival. My wish is to take his place and deliver the speech instead. Yeah. It's just a mayor. How bad could it be to piss him off? Yeah, it's worth it. Base the speech on women's rights in Swordland, on the oppression and discrimination we face every day, on the basis of our sex alone. And want our voice to be heard, this festival is the time to do it. I just need your blessing as my husband and the president of Swordland. You have my full support. I mean, can't you make the speech another time? But sure, you have my full support. One way or another, I want to contribute to this country no matter what happens. We are not weak, Anton, but we are only strong as long as we stand by our ideals. Like Alfonso. He tried his best, but he failed. Sol, say what you will, but that relic of the past was, and frankly still is, one of the most idealistic people of Swordland. Guess again, Jonas Krona. Backed on his ideals, and now everyone knows him for what he actually is. Spineless. Let's get back to the house. Lead the way. Let's piss off the mayor. Explosion in there. This is going great. Just great. But I want to make friends with the Workers' Party of Bloodia, for fuck's sake. Please stop bombing me. I want... Let's have peace talks. Let's work together. Please stop bombing. You're making my job harder. I want to give you rights. People are shitting on us because of our debt, and they might have a point. Smollett condemns Arcasian soldiers in Lesbia. We really need to find some more money. Investment decision. -1 budget. I can't. We don't have the money. We can't. As much as I want to, we do not have the money. Okay, budget allocation of law enforcement. Good afternoon, Mr. President. Lilias will be late. Apparently there's an urgent matter at the Ministry of the Interior she had to attend to. What urgent matter? Something about supply distribution for the police forces, nothing major. While we wait, why don't we have a little chat? This might come off a little strange, but I'm proud of you. Thank you. We're actually trying to reform the country. So much more to do. It's we, Nia, not me. I have a way with words. Actions are what's important. Seem to be doing well at both so far. Pros are cancelling out the cons for sure. I really rolling up Uptown. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but it's also the best thing I've done in my life. So much responsibility and so much power at the same time. I want to assist you in the country as best I can. Unfortunately, my hands are tied with the current budget allocation. She's trying to seduce me into increasing her budget. Okay. No, that's not gonna work. Barely finished the sentence. I hope I'm not interrupting. I'm sorry for being late. There was an important matter in the ministry, just a small dispute over who should get the supplies, nothing major. Well then, let's go straight in. We will provide a brief update on the situation of law enforcement. Go ahead. Ministry of Justice and the Supreme Court is working in close collaboration with the Ministry of Interior to address the protests in the country. Must add that thanks to the hard work of our judiciary, the law enforcement forces assigned to my ministry are doing their job efficiently. I would call it the success of our forces on the ground, not due to the judicial branch of our government. The current budget has dampened hopes of more funding in the force, yet here we are with mass protests happening in the country. We are standing exactly where we were before. So, not worse. Great. The decisions made needs to reflect the current situation of the country. This was certainly not the right decision when we are dealing with mass protests. Priorities, yes, priorities. Many of the Ministry of Justice hoped for an increase and were not satisfied with the decision. This means we'll have to deal with the growing court backlog. It's manageable, but it'll be a challenge for sure. We had to make sacrifices. Might very well damage the structural integrity of Storland. Shh, don't be overdramatic. Remains to be seen. Ripples are already being felt across the country. I hope this decision is not the beginning of something bad. Well then, I must now return to the ministry. So that was it? This was the meeting? Seriously? Nothing got done. Why was this even a meeting? This was a chat, not a meeting. Fuck's sake. We're here to work. Okay. Construction issues. Fuck. This is gonna cost me more money, isn't it? Concerns about the construction. Progress is being slower than expected. Finished in late 1955, but the Sorges State Corporation might miss that target with the current trajectory. Said that they are moving forward slowly but steadily. The cliffside ground laying construction between Lancashire and Arvery is proving more dangerous than expected. The SSC is an organization of principle, so they aren't rushing and risking people's lives. Good. I'd rather it take more time than needless deaths. How can you get construction back on schedule? Just a million rand question. There are a couple of issues that need to be resolved. Want the SSC to make the deadline. One of the important issues is their construction management team. The other could be the outdated construction methods used, which require more manpower. We are sure if that continues to be the issue. We don't want to create chaos in the management team, which could create further problems. SSC, we might need more resources to speed up. I really don't want to spend more money. There's also a chance that the money could be wasted. We already spent so much investment. It might be necessary. If we make the opening ceremony on time, the public will challenge our efficiency. One way or another, we have to solve this issue. This can lead to real complications down the line otherwise. We can either give the construction managers money, warn them, or replace them. More resources, more likely to hit the deadline. I can't. Let's replace the managers. I don't want to do it, but I can't afford to spend more money on this. Failure isn't rewarded. I cannot. I don't. I did not want to do that, but I cannot. I cannot afford to spend any more money on this. What's up in Latchaven? Changes to the tax system. Mr. President, so nice to see you again. Good afternoon. It's great to see you all again. Before we start, I would like to mention some rumors that I heard. Workers' Rights Act did not sit well with many business holders. See if I care. Especially the first section about the minimum wage. They can suck my wally. I heard the same. This has caused these businesses to lose millions of rents. Oh, will someone think of the businesses? Unfortunately, especially during a recession, what's unfortunate is that it was enacted this late. First of all, I would like to thank everyone here for their work on our tax system reform. You all know how complicated our current system is, and this work wouldn't be possible without you. The ultimate goal here is to end the recession. Before we move ahead to start formulating a plan, we need you to determine our direction, Mr. President. A few possibilities as a result of the work we have done so far: can increase, maintain, or decrease the tax for large corporations. We can increase, maintain, or decrease the tax for small and medium businesses, and start with large corporations, move to small businesses. What does everyone think we should do? I don't think we can do anything at this point, although I would have preferred a decrease in taxes. It doesn't seem to be the best option. Our international trade is driven mostly by the products of these corporations. They are our backbone of our economy. I'm ready to make a decision. Increase the taxes for large corporations and balance it with a decrease for small businesses. Yeah, exactly what I wanted to do. We are making a mistake. Don't care. Fuck off. It's going to have outrageous effects down the road. Yet, Tusk can have me killed. I really don't care. I have taken note of our action and I will put it to implementation as soon as possible. Be giving people some relief by enacting tax breaks for small and medium businesses, and there will be an increase for large corporation taxes, which will help us sustain our balance. Good work. Uh, I hope that pissed off Tusk. He's going to have me killed, isn't he? But that is gonna have to be it for this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. As always, I have been Pope. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the things that make the algorithm happy, and I will see you all next time.